What's up, boys? I am some dude on the internet who thinks his opinion matters, and we are here with a fucking tier list today. We are uh, we are ranking the areas in all Souls games, at least Dark Souls 1 through 3. I didn't make this tier list, or the template. I didn't make this template. This is some template I found. So it said all the areas on here. I'm going to assume and believe it, but I did change the tiers. It was like your standard S through F shit. But we God tier pretty good, solid areas, passable, man, don't like it, hate it, and should be deleted. These aren't ordered by games; they're just kind of just whatever. So I'm just gonna go through it, talk about them, and go for it. There's some I did go over like a little bit of this. There's some like really like passive like thrown a once on here, even though that's not really an area, but is what it is. So first kill to the first slave in Dark Souls 1 is it's hard to rank this one off topic because like as an area itself is pretty meh, but because the whole area is dedicated to like just the final boss, I can bump it to passable simply for that reason. If it wasn't the area for Gwyn, then it'd definitely just be mad because it's literally just a walkway with like like what 4 or 5 Black Knights and that's it. But yeah, Fire Vaulter, man, it's just there. It's not really in an area. Don't know even why it's on here. Things Betwixt. As an intro level to Dark Souls 2, it's passable. It doesn't do anything. It's a good tutorial area. It's not better than the Berg, not the better than the Berg. It's not better than the Asylum, but it's like passable. Earthen Peak. I don't like the Earthen Peak as an area. Poison is never fun in these games, um, and it's not really fun to go through. Honestly, going through the little poison smoke area to get stuff isn't fun. The enemies aren't fun. There's just a bunch of hollows. Those big guys that throw dark orbs aren't fun to fight. And I think in Scholar they have the flame ladies too. So like it's I don't like it. It's not I don't care to go through it. Shroud of Mana. I hate this area. I granted I hate a category, but this is like beyond hate. I literally despise this area. I don't like going through it. I like every time I play Dark Souls 2, I go through it. And I don't want to. It's like aesthetically, if this was based on aesthetics, it's like up here. If we're going by aesthetics, but by like area design, it's terrible. It has a bunch of you are slowed by different levels of waters, and the enemies aren't. And there's too many enemies in this area. They're too aggro. The tracking on the spells of those damn sorcerers are so insane. It's so miserable to go through this area. If the water wasn't a factor in this area, it'd probably be a lot better than what we. But the water makes it horrible. I hate this area. Never. Dragon Sanctum. If I remember correctly, this is the big building in Shiva, Shalva. It's pretty solid. So pretty good deal. A pretty good area. Most of the DLC areas are pretty good to be honest, in my opinion. They're very puzzly, and I like that. Dragon Sanctum is pretty alright. Uh, like the thing with the switches is pretty cool. The enemies in there are kind of but they're manageable enough to where like it's okay. And those really quiet moments in the Sanctum where you hear that like singing, it just brings the atmosphere like super up. Solid area, I like it. Firelink Sean from DS3 is pretty good. I have no idea if DS1 Firelink Shrine is on here. If it's not, then I'll go. I'll talk about it at some point. I don't see. I don't know if it's on here, but Firelink Shrine DS3 is pretty good. It definitely takes a lot of inspiration from the Nexus in terms of like a hub design area and stuff like that. But once all the NPCs start coming in and stuff like that, it feels like a very alive area. And like when like the first like say what you want about the area, when you go through Dark Souls 3 the first time and you beat Gundyr and you go walk up to it and you open the doors and you like see this giant hub area and the name Firelink Shrine comes up there, you're getting chills. You're getting at least somewhat goosebumps. They have the little area. They also have like this area has like the little tower area with the bridge and stuff like that that you can like explore and traverse. So like it's not like just a hub. It's like a little tiny, very tiny side area with a couple of secrets if you look hard enough. Solid, pretty good, amazing level like this. Lothric Castle. Whew. Lothric Castle. It's either passable or it's solid. Um, I'm putting passable for now. It's okay. It's okay as like a late game area. It's huge though. It's a huge area. If we're talking like once you beat Dancer, you go up the ladder all the way to Lockthar Gloria. It's a huge area. It's a huge area. Unless the not Duke Archives, the that one area beyond the Dragon Riders in here, which it might be, but if we're talking like from ladder to Lockthar Gloria, this is actually a pretty solid area. But if we're talking just from the ladder to Dragon Slayer armor, then it's passable. But you know, it's okay. It's a pretty good level. I don't have any actual like qualms about it. No real nitpickies thingies. I think the dragon area is pretty good. It's solid design. It's not terrible. Northern Undead Asylum. So this is like the tutorial of Dark Souls One. I don't. I'm trying to look at this as not the tutorial level of Dark Souls, but as an area of itself. And, it's solid. It's pretty good. Like the game does a relatively okay job teaching you the game, but granted, if you're going into it like blind, it's really hard to know if you have to go through that passage, that doorway once you start the Asylum Demon fight. So people are just gonna throw themselves at the Asylum Demon with like a broken straight sword and like want to quit and give up the game. So like it loses points for me there, where the game doesn't really do a good job telling you to go through the door and stuff like that. But once you get through the door, the game does a good job of like teaching you the game and stuff like that with all the notes on the ground. And with the plunging attack, it makes the boss really doable. Like it'd probably be up here pretty good if it wasn't for that one nitpick with the door. And you're able to come back, and once you learn how to come back here, you have another boss. You have you can go get the Mercurial doll to get to the Painted World. You can Oscar comes back undead. You kill him. There's a Black Knight. It's a solid level. The Great Hollow. The Great Hollow. Man, this one's hard to rank. I want to put it in God tier because I'm a little biased towards this area, but I'm gonna put it as passable simply because I think Ash Lake might be here, and Ash Lake is like a big reason why people like the Great Hollow to begin with because of the reward you get at the bottom. Yeah, Ash Lake is right here. I think I'm just while I'm here, I'm gonna put Ash Lake as passable. Aesthetic wise, these are great areas. The Great Hollow is a relatively okay level. The problem is that like Dark Souls, at least one through at least the original Dark Souls, it's not very good vertically. Like when you're exploring vertically, it's not very good. This is a kind of a good example because like you have to roll down on the branches stuff like that, and you can't be super precise with it. So like sometimes you just gotta just go for it with the rolls, and sometimes you miss and it sucks. But it's all right to go through, and then once you do get it, you get Ash Lake, and like Ash Lake aesthetically is like up there. It's up there with one of the like greats in terms of aesthetics. But like as an area itself, you have a Hydra fight, some items, some clams, and the ancient dragon. So like as an area itself, it's like okay. It's only unpassable simply because of like the aesthetic is so good and the music once you come into Ash Lake is so good that I can't ignore it to an extent to where like I can't put any lower than passable to be honest. Undead Purgatory. Undead Purgatory. Oh god, what area is that? Undead Purgatory. I mean, Purgatory. Undead Purgatory. Where the hell? Oh, that area. Okay, yeah, that area. The fact that I have to Google it, I don't like it. It's not good. It's literally the run. It's a very small area off of Huntsman's Copse. Getting to it's annoying because the enemies that are guarding it are mad obnoxious and their hitboxes are like dumb. The bridge isn't fun to go through, especially on like higher new game cycles. And I think Scarlet first thing because there's a red phantom that blocks your way. And the boss isn't very good. It's just a gimmick fight. The only reason that Undead Purgatory is like acknowledged or remembers because the arena's locked behind it, but not very good. Drink Lake Castle. Drink Lake Castle is pretty meh. for being like the big castle area, the Anne Orlando of Dark Souls 2, it's not very good design wise. It's pretty linear. It has the cool like Souls puzzle, but like that's the only thing going for it. And at the end of it, it has Dragon Riders times two, which is a boss we already fought. It also has a Looking Glass Knight, which getting to the Looking Glass Knight is not very complex. It's actually it's just very easy. It's literally like a short run to a key, I think, up a ladder and going back down. Or no, I think it's going back up and hitting a switch up a ladder, and that's it. You open the door, you just walk to the Looking Glass Knight. And the Looking Glass Knight's an okay boss. It was probably a lot better at the DS2 launch whenever everyone was playing the game. So like the summoning mechanic that the Looking Glass Knight did is pretty good, but it is a mechanic that's as time goes on it gets worse because less people play the game, so people don't actually get summoned during that fight. So like it's okay. I will say that the rain, the dark sky and the rain does help with the atmosphere of like it being a very depressing castle, because it is a depressing castle. It's depressing to go through. That's why it's pretty meh. Shulva, Shulva. Uh, Passable. Might be solid, to be honest. I don't know. I have a bias towards the DLC for Dark Souls 2, but Shulva is okay. It is definitely is the first iteration of the copy paste enemies that the Dark Souls DLCs to DL. I can't talk. Dark Souls 2 DLC had in terms of like their basic enemy design. But I think out of those, I think these are the spookiest ones because they just seem so tanky and their hammers are just wild. I will say that the switches, having to use a bow is really unique and cool mechanic, and they do give you, I think they do give you a bow and arrows at the beginning of the level, so you don't get stuck with it or anything like that for like builds that don't have bows and arrows or something like that. And the introduction to the deity is actually really good because Sin comes and flies down, so like that sets the tone for the rest of the DLC. The shortcuts in here are pretty good. I'll say passable. I think I'm bumped with solid now that I'm talking about it. Old Chaos, it's a boss arena. It's meh, just a boss arena. Profane Capital, I don't like it. I might hate it. Nope, might hate it. I think I hate it. I don't know. I don't think this is a good. This is one of those areas that From Software are known for, where they have a good concept for it, they don't have enough time for it, or something happens in the development cycle and it gets like neutered and like the result's just not good. It's not a good area. It's relatively short. Yorm's a disappointing fight. The bottom area with the giant scary hand things, it's okay, but like it's I don't like it. I actually pretty much hate this area. I never like going through this area, and also it branches off of Irithyll Dungeon, which is another area, which I guess since I am talking about Irithyll, where is it? Where's Irithyll Dungeon on here? Irithyll Dungeon. I hate Irithyll Dungeon. I almost want to put it should be deleted because I don't like this area. This area is. I like the idea of a claustrophobic jail area. They successfully did it in Demon's Souls with 3-1, and I feel like Irithyll Dungeon is an attempt to capture the atmosphere and magic of that area, and then it just falls completely short because it's filled with obnoxious enemies with a very annoying mechanic that makes the area not fun to go through at all. And that is enough to like make me just not want this area to be in the game. And then it leads into the Profane Capital, which is another area I just do not like. Irithyll Dungeon is relatively just not a good area. I don't think it's designed well, and I think that it's just trying to capture the magic of 3-1. And I honestly feel like that From Software has been trying to capture the like eeriness and like spooky nature that 3-1 provided, and they've just every time they've tried, they missed. I don't know. Just my opinion. Again, all this is just my subjective opinion. If you don't agree or don't like it, that's okay. Like, I won't be mad. Erlano, God tier. Probably the most famous area of all the Souls games. Outside maybe Blacktown. Erlando's God tier. There's almost nothing wrong with the level design in this area, except, like, the only thing you can say is, like, the rafters. And even then, the rafters are fine. if you take your time with the rafters, it's a fine little like like area to go through in Orlando. But like the only time the raptor sucks is when you die, when you get really far on the raptors and you like slip, or when the painting guardians like kill you. Kind of BS. Like painting like that area is the only thing about this area that could potentially bring it down, but it's bearable and doable enough to make me not influence my opinion to bring it down. The boss is the ONS is the most famous boss from this area. This is the most famous area from Dark Souls from like the entire series. So like for a reason, because it's relatively well designed and it's good. It's fair. I think it's a fair area. It's great. Lost Izalith should be deleted. In retrospect, I probably should put a tier for it. Should be reworked or whatever, but eh. Lost Izalith, we all know the story. It was an area that was supposed to be more fleshed out. Development cycle didn't go, and the second half of Dark Souls suffered for it. So you'll notice that with the trend with a lot of the second half of Dark Souls, it's not going to be very high up here. Lost Izalith, not very good. It's on PS3. The frame rate kind of chugs. The orange is super bright and ugly to look at. It's a bunch of dragon butts. The boss is terrible. We all know. King's Passage. What is King's Passage? I think that's another DS2 area. I'm gonna have to look up some of these. King's Passage. Oh, this is just the lead up to Looking Last Night. I might make another tier list for these kind of areas. Like, I don't know. It's meh. Iron Keep should be deleted. Iron Keep's horrible. Iron Keep is the prime example people use to bash DS2 level design, and I don't blame them, simply because it's not a good area. It's terribly designed. Is a prime example of DS2's difficulty design of throw a bunch of BS enemies in an area, call it a day, instead of interesting level design. And I love DS2. I am extremely biased towards DS2, and I'm saying that about like DS2 as a whole. But Iron Keep's terrible. This area is not fun to go through. All the Alone Nights are awful. The getting to Smelter Demon is horrible because you have to get through literally, I think it's like 10 plus Alone Nights you have to at least deal with to get to Smelter Demon from the bonfire, and a couple elites in there. At least 10. You cannot run past them. If you try to, you'll die more trying to run past him, get to Smelter Demon than Smelter Demon himself. So you have to actually deal with him every time you die to Smelter Demon. And it's always obnoxious. It's not pretty. It's not a good area to look at. Like it's also pretty ugly. Another hot take is that when it comes to like these kind of areas where it's like super lavity and fire and stuff like that, FromSoft misses every time. The only area that fits as success that FromSoft has like done relatively successfully was like Stonefang Tunnel from Demon Souls, which is kind of a trend where like From try to do things that they did in Demon Souls and they just miss every time. But same case here. Fire levels, they miss. They're typically not very good, except for like Stonefang Tunnel. And I think 3-1 is like the only case. 3-2 is not good. It's not very good. Which I'll cover that in a Demon Souls one. But yeah, Iron Keep should be deleted. Don't like this area. Cemetery Ass, intro level to DS3. It's passable. It does an okay job of teaching you the game. Has that crystal lizard. It has the crystal lizard that you can fight for returning players that feel confident, or players that play through the tutorial enough to feel confident to like go on about it. But it's just a straight walk with one bonfire to Gundyr. And Gundyr's a pretty good intro boss. It's probably the best like tutorial intro boss in all the Souls games. Hot take. Not even hot take. I think a lot of people have that opinion, but it's passable. Anor Londo Dark Souls 3. I don't like it. I don't like this area in Dark Souls 3 simply because it's part of the DS1 nostalgia train the DS3 likes to do a lot. Like going to it the first time on DS3, it's, you get super happy and nostalgic because you see Anor Londo, and then you get super surprised because you go inside and see that it's all dead and stuff. You see the giant, you cry. But it's just the hallway up to ONS, and then it's Aldrich. Aldrich. Aldrich? Saying that right, I think. Um, but like subsequent run throughs, this area is not fun to go through. Really, it's just again straight shot to Aldrich. Aldrich. It's Aldrich, not Aldrich. Aldrich. The only thing this area probably has going for it is the giant spider demon thing that pops up out of nowhere that is really scary. Like, that's about it. And I also have PTSD about this area from farming those silver knights for the proofs for the platinum way back in the day. So, yeah, this area's not very good. Painted World of Ariamis. Pretty good. It's been a while since we had a pretty good one. It's pretty good. The Painted World is a pretty beloved area, and just in Dark Souls in general, like any form of Painted World, even the Ariandel one, even though that one is kind of, but this one's pretty good. You know, solid level design, very spooky enemies that if you know how to deal with the fire and stuff like that, it's pretty good. Well designed enemies, even though the crows are a little meh, not kind of BS sometimes, but is what it is. It has the undead dragon you can fight. It has that lower area with the bone wheel skeletons. That is probably the worst part about it. So you have to get the key and stuff like that to fight Priscilla. And even you don't have to fight Priscilla, she just lets you leave. Like, it's a very good optional area, and like how you have to enter is also pretty cool. So yeah, it's pretty alright. Earthen Peak, don't like it. Same reason as Earthen Peak, just not fun to go through. I don't like going through it. Poison's never fun. All the enemies in here are annoying. Those little mannequin guys are obnoxious. Majula's god tier. Majula's god tier. Like, Majula has the most welcoming warmth atmosphere out of all the hubs. The only hub that like matches Majula is Hunter's Dream and like Nexus. In terms of like DS1 through 3, this is the best hub world. Like, arguably, in my opinion. It is so warm and welcome. The music's great. When you walk out of the things with Twix and you get hit with the sunlight of Majula and you walk towards Majula, it's just a great feeling. And when all the NPCs like come, same thing as like same argument as like Firelink Shrine, but is more here with Majula, because in DS3 NPCs kind of like in Firelink Shrine DS3 NPCs kind of just show up most of the time. Like, you have to talk to some of them, but like DS2, like you talk to all of them, you get to know them, and like all the vendors are pretty good in here. And there's that little like mansion basement area with the broken lore vessel, so there's like cool lore implications. It also just branches off into so many areas that like for Dark Souls 2. Where Firelink Shrine like struggles because it doesn't link off into anywhere. It's just a hub world you teleport to and from, where Majula feels part of the world. And the atmosphere is just so good. It's god tier for me. Belfry Soul, it's meh. It's meh. It's just a bell area that's like doesn't have a boss. So actually I don't like it. Now that I said that out loud. I don't really care for this. It doesn't do anything. Undead Crypt, meh. The I might put a don't like it now that I think about it, because base DS2, like not Scholar but base DS2, this area is horrible. Like, the torch mechanic is cool, but the thing is that the torch mechanic in DS2 in general is just not very good. So like, it barely does anything. The NPC is kind of cool, like the guy that doesn't like light or whatever. He's okay. The stupid phantoms where if you ring a bell is so obnoxious because you can't see most of the time, so you can't see the hollows ringing it. And there's sometimes you'll just be swinging trying to deal with an enemy, you'll just accidentally hit a bell and summon another one, and it's just like a never-ending cycle. The big giant shield guys are not fun to deal with and get past, and the boss run in base DS2 when it was surrounded by a bunch of the Gold Knights, it's so horrible. It's so bad to go through. It's so unfun. That's the only like. It's enough to the point where the fact that they changed it to like, I think, a Dragon Rider, maybe two, I think. Change, like, that's a good change, but it's still not good enough for me to like put it up any higher than I just don't like it because it's not good. Cave of Dead should be deleted. All the side areas and all the DLCs all suck. It's not fun. It's just throw a bunch of unfair things in an area, have fun running. High Wall of Lothric. It's passable. It's passable. It's okay. You know, it's the first area do you go through on DS3. Has some cool things you can do in it. You know, some cool secrets you can find. You can find that Dark Wraith just chilling if you wanted to start doing invading. Has Grey Rat, which is a beloved NPC in that game. Has like Vor and Dancer. I mean, it's like not like super complex area. I think it's just one of those. It's just one of those areas where it's like it doesn't do anything unique or anything like that. It's just a good, well designed level where it's like passable. I'm not gonna put up solid now that I said that. Consumed King's Garden. This is the Osiris area. It's meh. It's like a cool. It's like a cool area to discover. But like, it's okay. I also just don't like Osiris as a boss. But if I remember correctly, this leads into the Dark Firelink, so like that bumps up to passable because Dark Firelink is a cool area. It's good. It's real good. Like this area is like it's real good because it links into the Dark Firelink. If I'm remembering correctly, memory's a little hazy, but like it's okay. It's fine. It's a fine area. Firelink Shrine, OG Firelink Shrine. I don't need to explain myself in this one. It's Firelink Shrine from OG. I do think Majula is just a little bit better in it, but Firelink Shrine is just Firelink Shrine. Nothing like. Ulsil Sanctuary. I mean, it's just the intro. It's just the little area before the Royal Wood for the DLC for DS1. So that's okay. Forest of Fallen Giants. It's passable. It's like the first. It's like the real starting first area of DS2. It's like pretty linear in design, but most of DS2 is pretty linear in design. But it's pretty big. It's a pretty relatively big area because you have the walkway up the ladder into the other ladder to the main bonfire. Then you go upstairs towards that area. You can go outwards, go to where Pate's at, explore that little area, and then there's the lower area where you can go real down, go where the fire lizards are at. It's a lot of Doom Forest. It's actually pretty good, but it's only passable because it's like it's not something I don't care to go through. Shaded Woods. I don't really like it. It's so weird. It's not the thing that From Software likes to do, in their games a lot, is like they like to design areas where they structure vision as as a form of artificial difficulty. But in some of them, they give you a way to see. Like in DS1, Tomb of Giants, it gives you the light. There are torches, but like in Shaded Woods, there's literally no way to actually do that. To actually see where you're going, you kind of have to guess. You have to use You have to use landmarks as your way to like navigate it. But at the same time, there's like one landmark as a giant face tree, and that's about it. Like I don't know. This area doesn't rub me the wrong way. I don't really like it. Audius Keep, I don't like it either. It's just a giant straight run to the dragon. The bone dragon's annoying. All the enemies in this area is annoying. There's a giant like pit of acid that like degrades your armor. Not good. Dragon's Rest is it's just meh. It's just another boss area. There's like a lot of the like boss run up areas are just gonna be like a meh. Undead Settlement. I don't really like this area. It's not fun to go through. It starts strong where you go from the wall down into this like area, but going through is just not fun. Which is a lot of problems in DS3 is like going through it on subsequent playthroughs. It's just not fun. It just feels like a chore to get through a lot of these areas, and Undead Settlement is just an example of that. I don't think the Cursor Great Wood's a very good boss. It also links into the area before Fairy Keep, whatever that area is called. I forget. I'll know because I'll see it on here. But it's just not very. It's not very fun. I don't really like it. Untinted Graves. This is the Dark Firelink. Pretty good. Granted, it is just Firelink with a dark skin on top of it, but the first time you go through this area and all the stuff you can do in this area with Champion Gundyr and then what's after Champion Gundyr with all the stuff you can find in there is so good that is up that I can put in pretty good on that fact alone. So like, yeah, I mean, Dark Firelink is just cool. Like lore wise, I have no idea if it makes sense. I haven't kept up with DS3 lore in a while, so like lore wise, it may not make sense. Who knows? But as an area itself, it's pretty cool, pretty good. Undead Burg, solid. So solid intro like level if you go like towards the Undead Burg instead of towards the Catacombs and to die, like what the game like most people do. But Undead Burg, it's a really solid area. The enemies are not the enemies are placed in a way where you won't get overwhelmed by them if you're taking your time. If you're taking your time learning the patterns and attacking, like going through your first time of the game and you're just learning the mechanics and you are dispatching them one by one and taking your time, this area is fine. This area is pretty good. But if you're trying to run through it, you get overwhelmed and punished for it. Which is I believe is actually solid game design, where the game will punish you for trying to make light of it. Where in this case, yes, if you try to run through Undead Burg without a game plan, you'll get fucked. You'll get sworn by hollows and like stun locked to death. But if you take the area slow and steady, which applies to a lot of areas in these games, but Undead Burg does a good job of instilling that habit into you of taking things slow and steady instead of trying to rush through it and just mash buttons and try to get your way through it. So you have to take it slow and steady, and it does a good job of demonstrating that. So it's a solid area, and it also links off to a lot of other cool shit. Catacombs. Catacombs is an interesting case. It might be solid, and it might be it's either passable or solid. I don't think it might be pretty good. It does a good job with verticality, as I mentioned with the Great Hollow, where verticality in original DS1 is not very good. Even though there aren't very many areas like focus on entirely, this is one of them that I think does a pretty solid job of doing it. Because you go down, and then you have to make your way through the catacombs, and it does feel like a catacombs. There's a bunch of skeletons and stuff like that. And it does get spooky your first time through. Whenever you kill a skeleton, it gets right back up, and you're like, oh, what do I do? But the game does a good job by placing one at the beginning of by making you see the skeletons respawn first, and you're like, what the fuck? And then you go into the area, and you see this guy, you see the necromancer, and you kill him, and the bonfire's right there. You run to the bonfire, and you come back, you notice he's not spawned anymore. You're like, huh, that's interesting. And then you go kill the skeleton, and then you get souls, and it doesn't come back. So it clicks in your mind of how you're supposed to deal with this, and the game does a good job of showing you that at the beginning of the level, so you know how to deal with that scenario as you progress through the catacombs. The traps are really cool, and you meet Patches for the first time. And it's Pinwheel, and Pinwheel is a funny meme, and it has the Bumble skeletons, which are not fun, but it's also mean because they're not fun. And as a blacksmith, there's a lot of things that you can uncover in the catacombs if you're exploring. And it does a good job. Solid level. It's actually pretty good now that I've talked about it extensively. Royalwood, meh. It's just a reskin of Darkwood. It's practically almost a reskin of Darkroot Garden with some twists and turns. A little nifty thing here and there. Artorias being the boss is like the reason why it's not, and I don't like it. It's because Artorias is Artorias, but it's pretty meh. Seeing Calamete's cool. The enemies are like tough. It's okay. Hyde's Tower of Flame. Now, as I said earlier, I'm pretty biased towards these DLC 2 areas. DLC 4 DS2 areas. Oh wait, this isn't a DLC. I'm actually a monkey. Forget everything that or forget the past like minute. High Tower of Flame is that was so dumb. It's Room Tower. It's like 2:30 in the morning. I'm tired. High Tower of Flame. It's meh. This feels like lore wise. This feels like this should be the Anor Sunk Underground. That's pretty evident with like the architecture and the fact that you fight Ornstein at the end of it. But it's a meh area. It's not fun to go through, but it's also not unfun to go through. It's just kind of you just go through and you deal with it. It's pretty linear by design. You face a dragon rider. You can go fight Ornstein, which is pretty cool. It's a pretty cool nod back, but it's also just reusing Ornstein. If the thing that would elevate this area to like up here is if there was another area where you fact Smo, and it's like a little bit twist on the fight, but there isn't missed opportunities. And also, but this also leads to No Man's Wharf and stuff like that. It's like pretty main area. Doors of Pharos. This is like the connecting area from I don't remember. I know it goes towards Seldora. I don't remember where you come from. I think you come from Shaded Woods here. Is after the spy of the Scorpion Lady. It's like I don't really like it. It's okay. It has the water nonsense. It has the dogs that are really annoying, and then you have to like deal with them while being in water. And I don't like killing enemies that look like Gavlin because I love Gavlin. That makes me sad. I also think the royalty is in it. It's either Vanguard. I think royalty is in here, and that boss sucks. So yeah, I don't like it. Dragon Aerie. An example of an area being simplistic by design, but being done well at execution. This area is not super complex. It's actually pretty linear, but the spectacle and all the dragons is enough to make it pretty good. Seeing when you go up the elevator from Aldia's Keep into that area is so good. It's so good. And you come and you see all the dragons flying around, and you're just like taking it back, like, oh my god, this is so cool. And then you go through the area, and you fight dragons. It's so cool. Like, I don't know. I can sing praises a lot about this, but it's pretty good. Memory of the King. It's one room. Like there's nothing I can say. Row of Sacrifices. I don't like it. I don't like this area. This area is not fun to go through. It's very confusing. It's really hard to keep track of where you're at. And I don't like when From Software makes areas like that where it feels like you're just like running around aimlessly until you potentially find the right way to where to go. It's just I don't like it. It doesn't feel like a good design area to me. The crowds aren't fun. Thankfully, it doesn't have any mechanics about slowing your movement speed, or else this area would be so horrible. It's just I don't like it. I don't like going through it. Grand Archives. Oh, this is the area I was mentioning earlier about Lothar Castle. Yeah, so yeah, Lothar Castle would be pretty good if Grand Archives wasn't here. Grand Archives is passable. It has the two. It has the two sorcerers. The two sorcerers, like the boss that turned them into mini boss. Has the gargoyles. Has the wax, which is a funny meme. Like in terms of like going through this level, I don't hate going through this level. It's a pretty fun level. I don't mind it. It's pretty good. Passable. Might put in solid. Undead Parish. Undead Parish is solid. It's a solid area from after you beat Taurus Demon and you deal with the Hellkite Drake. The Hellkite Drake, the Drake Bridge is super famous, super infamous. It's pretty good. I like it. God, I still have all of these, man. Oh my god. The Bell Gargoyles are iconic. Andre's here. Everyone loves Andre. Undead Parish links connects to a lot actually. Like as an area, it's pretty solid. Two-Man Giants. I hate it. I hate Two-Man Giants. It's another example of From trying to do had to go with artificial difficulty in the later halves of Dark Souls 2 in order to present the player a challenge because again they're time rush. Taking away the player's vision is not fun. It's not very challenging. It's just simply not fun because you have to get sunlight magnitude. So what you have to do is you have to use the skull lantern in one hand. If you're running a build that requires you to two-hand your weapon, you can't use a skull lantern efficiently. So, or you have to get Sunlight Maggot, which is extremely out the way. Is all the way in Lost Izalithim. Is like it comes from a random bug in the passageway that you may come across if you do not know what you're doing. You have to like miraculously find the Sunlight Magnet if you don't know where it's at immediately. And if you're running a build that requires you two-handing your weapon, you can't even use a skull that turn to get through this area. And even if you could see through this area, it's not really fun. It's not really designed. It's just another vertical level that's not well designed, in my opinion. It's just not good. Ulasil Township, pretty good. It's a good level, area level, however you want to say it. Um, yeah, I mean, Ulasil Township. You come here after you fight Artorias. It has the giant elevator that gets to the abyss. It links into the abyss. It shows a good. It's a good representation of a town that's like got overwhelmed by the abyss, and it shows that pretty well by linking into the chasm, the abyss. The enemies are pretty challenging. You find the pendant in a cool way here. I think you have to jump onto like a railing on a building to get to it, which is really cool. Solid, pretty good level. I don't hate like not like I don't hate. I don't like hate going through here. I actually like going through here a lot. The enemies are challenging. I like it. Cathedral of Blue. This is just where the Ornstein fight is. It's meh. Brightstone Cake Cove Seldora. I don't like this area. The campsite area is obnoxious. None of the enemies are fun to fight. The pigs are not fun to fight. The pigs get bigger as you kill them, and they become even less fun to fight. Um, it's pretty linear, and it leads to the Prowly Magus and Congregation fight, which is the worst fight in the game. It's not good. Dragon Shrine. This comes off a Dragon Airy. It's passable. Doesn't do anything relatively unique or special to warrant like anything but beyond passable. It leads to the Ancient Dragon. The enemies in there are a little annoying, but there's nothing too like headache inducing. It's like passable. Broom Tower. This is the one I was talking about earlier. Broom Tower is pretty good. It's pretty good. Actually, no. I'm gonna put it in solid only because all the enemies in there literally are so annoying to deal with. The enemies in that DLC in general are just so obnoxiously annoying and not fun to deal with that it actually brings it down. But the actual design level is good. It's another example of From doing verticality in a pretty alright way. A way that I can like I don't hate. It's actually one I thoroughly enjoy. Having to find the giant key to activate the tower to get things moving is pretty cool. Finding Artorias' sword is pretty good, even though the area getting to there is really not fun. But the idea of going through this dead tower and reactivating it to give it new life to unlock new things is really good. It's a good area. Cathedral of the Deep. Don't like it. I don't like this area. The getting to here. I think it counts. It actually counts a whole like a side area before you get to the actual cathedral, and it's just not fun, man. Getting through those enemies in the area leading up to the cathedral, the giant white hollows that are just like punching bags. They don't fight back. It's not fun to go through. You have to just run past them, or they sometimes like get in your way too much. You can't run past them, so you have to swing at them to get past them to get some items. The lower area with the maggots, those enemies are not fun. They cause you constant bleeding. Um, there's also just a lot of like almost cheap feeling design in that area with the little gray rat thingies like coming out of nowhere and like ambushing you. The grave warrens aren't fun. The only thing I can praise this area about is the shortcuts. The shortcuts are really well designed, and they're pretty good. Um, but in terms of like subsequent playthroughs, this area is not really fun to go through. But you know, as I'm talking about it, I can actually put it in meh because like the actual in terms of like objective level design is pretty all right. There's a lot of things to do and explore in there. And the shortcuts are pretty good, but like in terms of like fun factor and wanting to go through it, I don't like it. It's not. I don't like going through this level, but the objective level design puts it up to meh. Arch Dragon Peak. Oh man, there's a lot of these left. I'm trying to get a little bit faster. Arch Dragon Peak. Solid level. The way you get to here is pretty cool. It's a beautiful area. It has the Nameless King in here, which is the most iconic boss, but it also has like one of the worst bosses with the Wyvern, which is not fun. The enemies are challenging but fun to fight. It has a Havel. It just has everything that people like about Dark Souls. It has dragons, and you know dragons. You know, like it's the dragon level. People love dragon levels in these games because they're super cool. Solid level. Dark Regarding, passable. It's okay. I don't mind going through this area. Links. It's all samey though. It has that problem of you ever walk or you're running around sometimes and you don't know where you're going. You just have to pray you find the right way. It's okay. Duke Archives. Duke Archives might be the best part. Might be the best. Might be the best area. Like post ONS, post Anor Londo, might be the best one. It's a good level. It's a like the elevator puzzle is pretty nice. I will say, I will bring down solid because the first half is not fun. It's not very good. Having to go through that area and then finding teeth and have the mandatory death and going through the jail part of like unlocking the cells and going to hit the switch to get the key and hit the switch to turn the music off and get the key to the door to get to the second part really brings this area down. If you cut out that middle part, it's pretty good. But because that middle part exists, solid. Chasm of the Abyss, passable. It's just a kind of relatively giant area that leads up to Manus. The seeing humanities as an enemy is pretty cool. The Sith event's pretty cool. Manus is pretty good. It's alright. No Man's Wharf, it's meh. It's just one of those areas you just go through because you have to. There's nothing significant about this area that makes it stand out. So whatever. Grave of Saints. I don't like. Hey, it's one of these two. Thing is meh. It's meh. It's also I don't like it. It's meh. It's just one of the again. A lot of DS2 areas is just go through it because you have to. Throne of Light. It's literally just the final boss entrance, or no, it's the lead up to the fucking like. It's meh. It's just a boss run up. Iron Passage should be deleted. It's terrible. Wait, is Iron Passage? Yeah, Iron Passage is like Cave Dead. Should be deleted. Should not become. Fair Keep. I hate this because of the same reason I do not. The same reason I don't like. What the fuck is Because the same reason I don't like Royal Sacrifice. It's the same reason why I don't like Royal Sacrifices. Just more. It's not a fun area to go through. It just feels like you're just running around hoping you come across the right thing. And because it's poison, and because you can't move freely as much, it just makes the whole area a chore to get through on subsequent playthroughs. Even if you know where you're going, it's still a chore to go through. Even the pretty good boss at the end of it doesn't bring it up. I hate this area. Killing of the First Flame. This is the DS3 version. It's alright. It's pretty cool. It's a cool callback. You go into another version of Firelink though, which is really funny. So many Firelinks in this game. But seeing the walkway up to the boss right there, and seeing all the distortion around you is pretty cool. But it's also at the end of the day just another boss run, same as the first kiln. It's just this one's just better than this one because the atmosphere and the aesthetic is better than this one. Darker Basin. Yeah, that's man. Has the Hydra. Has Havel. It's just a little connecting area. It doesn't do much. Crystal Cave. I don't like it. Probably the second or third worst one of like the post ONS. It's just hey man. Theme of the second part of the Dark Souls 2 is just artificial difficulty with invisible floors. that you have to use prism stones to navigate through. But taking one step, using an item to see if you're going, and repeating that process to see where you're going is not fun. I don't like it. It's not good. Actually, the only thing not putting I contemplate putting it in and I hate it, but the only reason I don't is because if you know where you're going, you can run through this area pretty relatively quickly and not deal with it. But it's not very good. Lost Bastille. It's passable. It's a big area. Connects to Sinner's Rise. I'm gonna put Sinner's Rise in passable too, simply because these areas pretty much connect like really well together, and they almost feel pretty much almost identical. Like even Sinner's Rise is just like actually no, Sinner's Rise is mad because it's just a glorified like boss run up with an elevator and stuff like that. It has oh what the fuck is his name? The guy the guy with that teaches you magic spells or something that's like I'm blanking on his name. That's like in the cell. I might remember his name, I might not. But Lost Bastille is passable. It's it's not an insanely annoying level to get through. It's pretty alright. There's just a lot to do here. And quantity doesn't necessarily equate quality. But there's enough stuff here that you can do that isn't a chore or obnoxious to get through. That's where it's passable. The blacksmith is here, which is pretty good. The main blacksmith you use for infusing and stuff like that's here. Rune Sentinel fight's not very good though, so like but you know, it's passable. Gutter, don't like it. If anyone knows the backstory of what the gutter was supposed to be like, then you know why this is here. It's just not good. It's not fun to go through. Like, not good. Memory of Mar. I don't really know. I don't remember which one this one is. I think all the memories are like, man, they're not. Where the heck is the memory J? Like the giant memories, they're just like small little mini areas. They're okay. Memory of the Old King. The only reason I don't think it should be deleted is because Sir Alon's there. If Sir Alon's not there, it should be deleted. But because Sir Alon there is, I just hate it because it's probably the worst boss run to get to or deal with because same reasons Iron Keep, bunch of enemies that you can't outrun barely, and it's terrible time, horrible, don't like it. Everyone hates this. Like, Catacombs of Karthus. I went through this area recently on the Convergence mod, and granted that does have a good and that doesn't matter in terms of like ranking this. But I used to not like this area. That's okay. It's alright. It's alright. It's an alright area. It's not better than the original Catacombs, but it's alright. I don't hate going through this area. It's okay. Painted World of Ariandel. Painted World of Ariandel. I don't like it. It's a DLC that tried to capture the magic of Ariamis with the Painted World, but it did a lot of stuff from the base game that I necessarily didn't care for, like the bridge. Like, cool idea, I guess, but activating the boss is literally the same as Ariamis. The beginning area is not fun to go through. The town area is not fun to go through. I will say that the area that you get to via the bridge, like the ice lake area, is alright and pretty fun. Like aesthetically pleasing, like going through the tree branches is like alright, but like I don't know. I just know I just didn't not have fun with this area. Depths, I don't like it. Like it's too maze-like. The slimes are annoying. The basilisk curse you, and that's annoying. There's a channeler there that buffs the gaping dragon. Like, just a giant sewer area that's not fun. New Londo ruins. It's meh. Actually, no, I don't like it. I don't like New. Actually, I don't like New Undergrounds. Now that I think about it, like I don't like the idea of having to use an item specifically to deal with the mobs in that area. Granted, they give you transient curses, but the problem is that if you die or run out of transient curses, you can't go through that area really because you can't fight the ghost there. And God forbid you try to run through that area and try to get to Ingward through that one room. You will just get in. You'll just get like jumped and died. And the ghosts are not fun because they can float off like away from out of your range if you're playing with a melee weapon, or they go into the walls or the floor, and they can hit you. You can't hit them, and it's just not a fun time. And the second part is not fun either. It's whatever. Belfry Luna, meh. It's just like worse. Undead Parish, like the Undead Parish Church, is just a worse version of that. Black Gulch, I don't like it. I don't like going through this area. It's just a giant like run. You have to, if you whether if you get hit or not by the poison statue is just up to like God. Not good. Oh my god. Frozen Elium Lois, third DLC. Hmm. What to do with you? I don't like it. This is probably my least favorite of the three DLCs, simply because the enemies are the enemies aren't fun, and the like having to deactivate a blizzard to unlock the rest of the area is all right. Even though that can be said the same with the Broom Tower, I don't know. The enemies in here are just not fun. All the tiger boss is like meh. Having to collect all the knights to fight the old Ivory King efficiently is not fun. The spike rats are bone wheel skeletons on steroids, and they're not fun. This is just not a fun area to go through. I don't necessarily like it, even though like design wise, this has the same concept as Broom Tower, but Broom Tower just feels better than Elium Lois. I don't know. It's more like I should be deleted. I despise this area. I despise this area because of how pointless it feels. It doesn't. It shouldn't exist. I don't like it. There's literally no incentive to go if you're on subsequent playthroughs. If you're not playing through this for the first time, there's literally no reason to ever come here. Absolutely none. You come here and you go. You could just go run straight to the old Demon King, and that in of itself is a like not fun fight. It's like like not good boss. And there's no incentive to go to the demon rooms below because there's nothing relatively good down there that is worth anything. I think the most it does, is provide a bonfire that's relatively closer to the old demon king, but even then, it's still not worth. Like, there's just no reason to ever come here, and if I'm remembering correctly, the demon princess from the second Dark Souls 3 DLC were supposed to be the boss of this area, not the old demon king, and that would have been insanely better. Like the whole Smoldering Lake, if that was like just a giant boss arena that you had to deal with and fight to unlock the demon rooms, and the demon rooms were like designed better, like they're just fucking like up here, but it's not. It's the quite opposite because I think this suffered from development cycle things like the second half of Dark Souls 1 to like meh. I hate this area. Don't hate this area. I think it just should be deleted. I hate it. Dreadkeep, meh. I don't remember much about it outside of the Angels. It's like okay, Blighttown. A lot of people don't like this area, but I think it's solid. If we're considering the upper half of Blighttown, it's pretty solid. If you haven't, if you've played through Dark Souls and you've only gone through the second half of like Blighttown with the swamp, but not the first half because your friend told you to get the master key so you don't have to deal with it, do yourself a favor. Go through the first part of Blighttown. It's pretty challenging, but in a good way. Outside the blow dart guys and the dogs. Outside that, solid level, pretty well good vertically, and you have to like watch your step. Like it's a pretty good. I think it's a good area, in my opinion. Abyss, it's literally just it's just a boss arena. Dark Chasm of Old. I think that's a DS1 area. No, it's a DS2 area. What the? Oh, okay. The Dark Lurker Covenant areas. Yeah, I don't like them. I don't like Dark Lurker isn't an insane enough boss that warrants going through this chore. Not good. Frigid Outskirts. Everyone hates this area. Literally, no one likes this area. If you like this area, you're fuck off. Irithyll is meh. This is a hot take. Probably a lot of people like Irithyll, but I don't care for Irithyll. It just doesn't. It just feels linear, you know. I think Irithyll was designed to try to capture the magic of Anne Rolando, and then it just fell flat because it didn't have any of the good level designs that Anne Rolando had. So like, yeah, Irithyll's like meh. I don't really care for it. It's meh. Ring City is all passable. The Dark Souls 3 DLCs are pretty miss in my opinion. They're only the Dark Souls 3 DLCs are only lifted by the bosses they have. If we're looking at them by areas alone, they're not insanely well they're not insanely well designed. They're not relatively fun to go through. Like the first part with the arrow guys is not fun to go through. The outskirts of the Ring City is eh. There's a random Dragon Slayer armor you can fight there. The angels aren't fun. Or like, am I remembering this area right? It's been a while since I played Ring City. I don't know if you've dealt with the if you go from Dreg Heap into the Ring City with the arrow guys. It's been a while, but this area is I don't know. I don't really care for the Dark Souls 3 DLCs. Like this area, it's meh. Like the boss where it's like the giants where he summons an NPC or something. It's not good. Crow's Domain, it's just a boss arena. Valley of Drakes, meh connecting area. Huntsman Cops, it's another meh area. Shrine of Winter, it's just one. It's like I don't care for it. Memory of Dragons is a memory. It's just literally an area. Grand Cathedral is also meh. Sen's Fortress. Sen's Fortress is either pretty good or it's god tier. Like Sen's Fortress. Maybe god tier. It might be god tier. No, I don't feel comfortable. That's pretty good. Oh god, I'm so on the fence with this one. Because Sen's Fortress, as a level, design wise, it's really good. It fucks with you, but in a good way. In terms of like, you get fucked by the traps, but it teaches you where the traps are at, and there's always a way to deal with every trap that you come across. It has the boulders. It has the iron golem. It just feels like this actual fortress that you are trying to go through. Fortress lined with booby traps and shit like that. You're not supposed to be here. You went through all this. This was locked away by the bells behind the trials and the super daunting task of ringing both bells. You rung both bells and you are here. This is like the biggest. This is the goal of the beginning of the game that is told to you. That is told to you. You ring the two bells and this opens and you're like, oh shit, I gotta go there. And the area does a good job of wanting to keep you out because it doesn't want you there. So it was locked down for a reason, probably lore-wise. It is a fortress. It feels like a fortress, and it feels like you are unwelcome, and it doesn't want you there, and it does a good job doing that. And there is no trap, I believe, in that area that is like not being able, not like undealable or whatever. You can deal with every single trap in a way that is manageable. Even the spike death elevator that some people like may have beef with, there is a blood splat. There's a bunch of blood splatters on the elevator, which should like give your brain a signal or something like that. It's pretty good. And the first mimic is here, which is iconic. Mimics are iconic. God tier. I'm okay with God tier. Demon Ruins should have been deleted along with Life's Hazardlith, Iron Keep, and all these fire levels. And these things are all bad. And then Sanctuary Guardian is just a meh boss area. And there it is. A little over an hour. And we have ranked all of the Dark Souls 1 through 3 areas. I don't think there are any of them that got missed. There might have been, there might not have been. I am not entirely sure because I didn't make this template, but I believe that is all the areas in these games, and it's Dark Souls 1 through 3 ranked. So, just a recap, these are all the like insane, the God tier, like, love these levels. These are the ones that are like well designed. These are the ones that are like solid. I don't mind going through. These are also ones that I don't mind going through, but they don't do anything significant. These are all the I have to go through them, so I have to go through them. These are the I go through them and I don't like going through them. These are the I go through them and I want to like never go through them again. And these are the why did this ever get designed? Why did this ever get past the ideas phase? And why was this even developed and put into the game? And there you have it. That's your Souls area tier list, I guess. Because, you know, what's better content than tier lists? So yeah. If this video gains enough traction and attention, I will do one for the other From Software games like Bloodborne, Sekiro, Demon Souls, and hey, Elden Ring when it comes out, baby. So yeah, hope you like the video.